What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we have a fun 2 versus 2 Total War Warhammer custom battle for you, where I am playing with Turin as the Beastmen against Goblin King and a blind deaf orphan on the other side as the Empire. Now the fun thing about this, we're not using any mods or anything, but we did do random draft. So all 4 of us did random drafts, and which gave us pretty unpredictable teams. And so we thought it'd be fun just to try some new stuff, to test ourselves and just see what comes out of it. So you'll see here right off the bat, I got 2 groups of Senegors. I typically would bring the great axes, but these Senegors, I'm going to be trying to use them to be mobile and to get in the back lines of the enemy forces. You can see I've got some Gore Herd, I've got 3 groups of Ungor Raiders for my ranged units, I've got a bunch of Ungor Spearmen Herd, and they each have 1 or 2 chevrons. So but this one here you'll see has a silver chevron, so they were upgraded by the random army. You'll also see here that in the back I have 2 Cygors, which should be doing some good damage. You see this one has 19 kills already, and then I also have 2 groups of Piggies. So I've got this Razorgore herd here. They've got this one's actually got a couple chevrons. I've also got a Beast Lord on a chariot, and so hopefully I'll be able to do quite a bit of damage. Now Turin over here, he's got 2 groups of Harpies. He's got a Cygor. He's got also a Beast Lord on chariot, and he has 2 groups of Minotaurs with shields. And I know Turin typically doesn't bring Minotaurs, so that was a little bit fun to see him have to use those. We have these Razorgore chariots over here. He's only got 1 group of Ungor Raiders, and then he's got a front line here of Gore Herds with shields, Ungor Herd. He's got some Ungor Herd with shields. I mean, it's just a mix of frontline units here with a few chevrons in each. Over here for our opponents, they have some Tattersouls in front. They've got some great swords here in the back. You see they've got crossbowmen, handgunners. They've got a group of outriders with grenade launchers, which you don't see very often. Those are pretty cool units. Also, he's got some Demogryph Knights here with a silver chevron. You see here he's got Volkmar on his chariot, which is pretty cool. Also, they're using the Archlector as the other legendary lord. They've got some crossbowmen, great swords, another group of great swords. All these guys have tons of, if you looked here, I mean, they all have tons of chevrons in them. Sigmar's sons are right there. He does have a warrior priest, as well as 2 groups of handgunners, and one of them is the Regiment of Renown, the Silver Bullets. Those things do a ton of damage, and they do magical damage as well. He also has this Free Company Militia, and then up on the, besides the Reichsguard, up on the back here, he's got 2 different mortars, and you can see him shooting off right there. So we'll see if these Empire forces are going to be able to hold off against the Chaos mutated Beastmen army. So right off the bat, you'll see that all of these artillery, both the mortars and the Cygors, are going to be firing. All of the Empire forces are pretty much spaghetti lines, so there's not a lot of clumped up units for those rocks to hit, but you'll see, ooh, one does hit over there. And you'll see it takes about 12 models off, so it's not going to do a huge damage, but it does do something. You'll see, additionally, we tried to sneak some Chaos Warhounds with poison in there from the side, but they were caught by the Reichsguard, and they were just demolished. Those Reichsguard are going to be easily take out a group of Chaos Warhounds with poison. If they're supported, for example, by these Outriders with grenade launchers. I mean, the entire group of Chaos Warhounds is gone. But you'll see here that we have engaged. And this Beast Lord here and these Razorgore Herd and everything against these Tattersouls, I mean, they're already down to half. These Gore Herds are down to half, but we should be able to hold this front line quite easily as they're coming in here pretty piecemeal. If you look over here on the right, we were able to get these Senegors in the back. We were able to break those Outriders, as well as this group of Sterling's Revenge. And these Ungor Spearmen Herd are getting in here. They're trying to get into the back line as well. Over here on the left, we'll see how Turin's doing. You see he is firing in here with these Ungor Raiders. He's starting to fire over here at Volkmar, who, even though he's a beast, I mean, the fact he's up on that magic chariot, it does make it very easy for people to hit him. Ranged units especially aren't gonna be obstructed by their enemy units, and you'll see the Minotaurs are charging in here as well, just to try to take down Volkmar as quick as possible. We know if we're able to take him down as well as these frontline units, that'll definitely hurt the morale of the enemy team. Over here on the right, we've also got all of these Ungors, and you'll see a rock fly by. All of these Ungors are also shooting at Volkmar. I mean, the sooner we can take him off the field, the better, in my opinion. Oh, and you'll see these piggies just smash in there to those crossbowmen. The crossbowmen are wavering. And although these pigs, they don't have a huge charge bonus, against a unit like these crossbowmen, they are going to be able to help out. Over here in the back, though, you'll see I have finally gotten some Centaurs into these mortars. This was a big goal of mine, to take out these mortars because they were back here on the hill. And I think they would have really been better served if they had left this group of spearmen here in the back to protect those mortars and allow them to keep firing throughout the match. However, they do here have another mortar up front, but you'll see that, I mean, this warrior priest has been broken, and there is just, the balance of power is starting to heavily skew in the favor of the Beastmen armies. You'll see here also that these Beast Lords on chariots have just been moving, along with these Razorgore herds. I mean, there has just been a terribly mobile force coming at this army on the right here. Since we were able to get in behind and charge, it's going to break the morale of a lot of the enemy units. Here, you'll see that these Reichsguard are still fighting. They've got 36 kills. I mean, they're charging in. They're able to get into the back of these Ungor Raiders. They're going to do significant damage along with those mortar hits. And you'll see that Volkmar is able to pull through as well, and all of these groups of Ungor Raiders are shattered. Actually, sorry, they're not shattered, they're just broken, and they're going to be running off the field. Hopefully they'll be able to come back and do a little bit more damage for us later in the match. However, you'll see, although I haven't been able to keep track of it, Turin was able to do a ton of damage to these Demogryph Knights. These Spearmen and these Minotaurs that he had have been doing a ton of damage. I mean, look at these Minotaurs. They've got 45 kills already. And he has just easily been able to use these Harpies just to hold down units and to allow the Minotaurs to get in there and do some major work. You look at this. I mean, you'll see they're fighting. Oh, that Cygor is smashing down. I mean, that is just a ton of damage being laid down on this Archlector. And even though he is one of the tankiest heroes in the game, he is not going to be able to stand this forever. Those Reichsguard are charging in here, you see, but they just immediately were broken by the fear of these units around them, as well as the army losses that they've already incurred. I mean, that was a great battle, but you'll see here that, I mean, there was just not a lot they could do about the sheer mass in numbers. I mean, it was 1,900 units to 1,600 units. And with those random drafts, they're always fun, they're always quick, and it's really just about doing what you can with what you get. And I feel like as the Beastmen, we were giving a ton of synergy this match with these 3 Cygors and all of these chariots and different mobile units, which really allowed us to come in here and just get around the flanks of that immobile Empire army. You'll see here we're finally charging in here, and although Volkmar is going to try to get away on his chariot, it will not be long. Everyone's going to continue to try to just tar pit him down. You see we're getting him surrounded here, and he is going to go down without much left. Let's see if we can go ahead and get a good shot at him getting killed in here. I mean, those Cygor bullets are just landing in there, killing more Beastmen. Those Beastmen don't care at all. This is, I mean, the friendly fire from the range units, it's just about killing Volkmar now. The blood is in the air, and oh, you see he's knocked off his chariot. There he is, his body's there on the ground, crushed underneath the hooves of the Minotaurs. And that was a great, great, great random draft battle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the post-battle wrap-up. And you'll see here, Turin is mono black control. And you'll see here his Beast Lord and his different units here. I mean, they got a ton of kills. He was able to get 113 with his Chaos Warhounds that he was able to bring and charge from behind. Those Razorgore chariots with 86. He didn't get as many kills with the Minotaurs with shields as you would have thought he had. We saw him just smashing through those lines and flipping around there, but I just always do feel like those Minotaurs just do not always perform as well as they could for their cost. These Harpies were super helpful for him. He was able to get him into those back lines and really shut down and cause leadership losses from having units behind. And there was just all sorts of help from these mobile Harpies he was able to have. And overall, for a random draft, this is actually a pretty strong synergy together with my army. You see here, I mean, I got 80 kills with this Ungor Spearman herd. I was able to get them into the back line, and they were just able to do damage among all of the different ranged units and really just shut down along with these mobile Centigors that I actually had. I may bring those a little bit more often in the future because I typically bring the great weapons, but these will save a few hundred, and they were fast and able to get in and do tons of damage there in the back line. You did see that my Ungor Raiders got routed off the field pretty quickly. They got smashed hard. I need to do a lot better at protecting those ranged units from those back lines. I mean, I feel like that's one of my worst things. I mean, these Chaos Warhounds, you saw them get routed off right in the beginning. They didn't get a single kill, and surprisingly, this Razorgore herd did okay. I mean, 61 kills. That's about the best I think I've ever gotten from a group of Chaos Piggies. So. I mean, over here on the Empire side, you'll see the Warrior Priest. I mean, the Archlector. These guys. These are very tanky heroes, but they just weren't able to hold it out. The Mortar did get 64 kills, but I mean, with the Demogryph Knights only getting 1 kills, I think that these Chaos Warhounds were really able to do a number on those Demogryph Knights, and just with his ranged units, I think 20 kills between them. These are really expensive units, and you really do have to protect them. With some of these other chaff units in the back to keep them from getting knocked out so quickly. If we look at Blind Deaf Orphan, you'll see, I mean, his Volkmar did 70 kills. He was just casting, but the Witch Hunter is also, I mean, against us, what we have with that high numbers army, the Witch Hunter wasn't really the best pick he could have had. It just, with the random armies, you never know what's going to come. I mean, he got a ton of ranged units. He got the Reichsguard, 2 mortars. He did have some frontline here. I mean, compared to the massive number of frontline troops that we were given, they just had smaller armies, and I think that the random really screwed him over this. But great game to my opponent's Goblin King and Blind Deaf Orphan. Great game to my buddy Turin as Mono Black Control. And I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Please subscribe below for more great online battles. This is Black Iron, and I hope you've enjoyed another one of Black Iron's battles.